Hey guys, so here's another video. This one is going to focus on how to make your navigation menu on your website and what should be in there. Okay, so as far as your website goes, and I'm going to share this with you guys on Classroom so you have access to it. You're going to have your home page and about page, which is going to be about you, and you'll have like a little artist statement that you work on and kind of curate over the semester. You're going to have a portfolio page, and then you're going to have some sub pages. Okay. And these sub pages are going to be in this order. So these are things we're definitely covering. And then you're going to have 3 more sub pages. Okay. And those sub pages you're going to get to choose. Now, these are links because for those of you who aren't sure what, let's say, abstract photography looks like, you can click this and get an example so that you can make an educated choice on what 3 topics you want to choose. Now, you can always change these up until the point when we really are going to start working on this photography stuff. And basically, your choice topics are going to be something that you can essentially work on whenever you want. You can take photos of food right away. Let's say you have something really cool going on at home. Or let's say you travel somewhere with really cool architecture and you're like, I want to take my camera. So you can photograph this stuff whenever you want, but just educate yourself on what the topics are so that you can make those choices. And you can always change them too. Like, let's say you decide you're going to do food, architecture, and abstract photography. And then later in the semester, you're like, you know what is this chiaroscuro portraits? And you click on it and you're like, whoa, that's really cool. I want to try that. You can switch it out and like adjust it on your website. So I'm going to kind of show you how to do this. I'm going to go to Wix.com and I'm going to sign in, continue with Google. And I'm going to click on my site. So I'm going to select and edit my site. Okay, now your site should look just as it did when you left it. And there's a couple things on this page. Really, this stuff you're not really going to use, but you definitely want to just go to the site actions and click edit site. Give it a minute to load. So here's my site so far, and you can see I really didn't do much with it. I just left it the way that it was when I wanted to publish it, and I haven't really worked on it since. Over here, you're going to see some buttons, and these buttons are like things where you can add certain things. There's different apps you can put in here. This stuff we're not really going to use. Some of it's for like business and stuff, but there's all kinds of stuff that you can do here. Blog manager, calendar, they've got all kinds of stuff. The main stuff we're going to be working with is our site menu. And then you're going to be adding things like photos and text boxes and things like that. So these are your main 2 that you're going to be working on. By all means, remember with your Wix site that everything in here is pretty forgiving. So, if you do something that you don't like, you can always get rid of it. Like I could take this thing right here and just delete it if I want. Okay. So we're going to work on our menu today. You can see that the menu for the website is pretty much already set up, but we're going to kind of adjust things according to our stuff here, okay? So it's pretty simple. I'm going to show you how to make new pages and then how to adjust them. Do you guys see how this is sort of a sub-menu under the portfolio? So basically what that looks like is when I click, I'm going to preview my site so that I can actually see how it works. So when I hover, do you see when I hover over home, there's no sub-menu there. When I hover over portfolio, there's some different things here, right? And when I hover over these, there's nothing here, right? So a sub-menu is basically, here's the button, but this is the stuff underneath it. All right, so if you ever want to see how your site looks, you can just go ahead and click preview and sort of interact with it like someone on the outside would. Okay, I'm going to go back to my editor and I'm going to work on my menus and pages. Now, it says here that I'm going to have a home and then an about page. So I have an about page right here. And if I click it, it's here. I'm going to modify this later. I just want to focus on getting my menu the way that I want it. So you can see if I drag this page from where it was up, I can do one of two things. If I drag it over, it's going to function like a sub page of home, but I can also just kind of drag it and force it to the left, which is going to give me an individual about page that's going to be in the main navigation bar. Here's my portfolio, and I've got some sub pages here, which again, we're going to be modifying, but I also want to add a page, okay? So I'm going to be modifying these by renaming them. I'm going to add a few in here, okay? So I'm going to look here. Our first one is exposure. So I'm going to go ahead and double click and just title this exposure. I'm going to do composition and portraits. So if I just double click, you can see that I can modify my pages. All right, what was the next one? Portraits. All right. Now the scary part comes in. How do I add a page? Down here, oh Lord, what did I do? Go back to my site menu. If I add a page, it's automatically adding it underneath this sub menu. But if for some reason it doesn't, don't stress. You can always make the page and then just drag it thereafter. So I've got portraits, landscape, light, and motion. I'm going to try and remember two at a time here. Landscape. And this one decided to add up here, which is lovely. So I'll title it first. Light and motion. And then I'm just going to drag this down and over so it sits underneath the portfolio tab. We've got a photojournalism. All right. And then we're going to have 3 optional ones. Now, if you're like me, where you're like, oh my gosh, Miss Ernie, I can't make this decision right now. I need to like figure out what I'm doing and I need a minute to do that. That's totally fine. But what I would do, so you don't forget that you need the pages, is add the pages. New page, new page, new page. And then just title them for now, choice 1, choice 2, and choice 3. If you think you know what you want to do, type them in here. That's fine. Remember, even if you decide, you can always change them, okay? But if you're not sure right now and this is stressing you out, just make it choice 1, choice 2, and choice 3, okay? So that's the basics of our site. There's some other things here. You can see I have some different pages, but I don't really need these right now. So I'm just going to delete them. I don't need these extra pages. I don't need a client albums page. And I don't need a book online page. Sounds super cool, but I'm not booking appointments right now. So as you finish, you're going to see your menu should look something like this. All right, home, about, portfolio, and then underneath that, you're going to have your sub pages. Okay, when I click on these right now, you can see they're literally blank. There's nothing in there, and that's okay. We're going to get there. Okay, but we're just taking this one step at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this way, and you can see here that now my portfolio has just what I need in here, okay? So when I click on preview now, I've got my home button, all right? So when I click that, it looks like my home page that I had. There's an about page here that we're gonna modify in a little while. And then check this out. Here's all my sub pages, okay? So they're in the right order, they're organized. Now remember, my template might be different than your template. Your menu might be sitting over here. It might be organized in a different way, but the structure of it, I'm going to go back to editor here to show you. In my menus and pages, the structure of your site menu should look like this, okay? So I'm going to post it as a Word document. Here it is. It's pretty simple. And I think I'm going to title this like website. I called it portfolio site info. I'm going to make it look a little nicer. And then as we go through the semester, if there's little notes and things that I think that you might need to refer back to, I'll go ahead and do that. Okay. But for now, that's what we're doing. So once you meet this goal, you're going to go ahead and hit publish. And you can see here, my site is the same. I'm just going to leave it the same. And there it is. Okay, so that's your website menu, and that's what we're doing today.